Prepare for battle.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here for our first game of this best of two between Among Us and Motivate Trust. Apologies about that. We are... Some bugs just never disappear. I don't know what to say. It's
Oh man.
Can't fix bugs, John.
No, they're having fun in chat. Their moods are lifted, Mike. It doesn't affect them. They're happy.
I'm glad they're happy,
MY
John.
versus MY. Apparently the best carry gang. Whatever any of this means. The in-jokes flying out. Just gotta smile and nod and wave as Outing Rude's gonna be coming up. Looks like they're gonna make an aggressive move into Jackie. Gotta watch out there.
Do it. Jackie will be right. He's gonna back off. Let's get zoned down to those bounty runes, and they're just gonna be a bit wary of not giving 3 bounty runes away at this start, I suppose. If you are Motivate Trust, because it does look like Jabs wants to contest that bot bounty. But they do group up down a bot lane. Jabs is not going to bother trying. He'll return back to his lane, and we are going to have some lane switching going on. Savage wants to run up top.
Just avoiding the matchups on hand. Of course, that does leave you with the Lifestealer up against the Tide, but I think that's exactly what you want, right? The Lifestealer can just eat through the Tide, and you wouldn't want the, the Centaur to just do the damage onto Jackie's to stay in that lane. And once you've got that, it will help up. Of course, this is a bit of a boon for Jabs, having the first wave for himself as a Bat Rider. It's not too bad of a trade, so despite playing musical lanes, it's pretty alright here for Among Us.
I'd say so. Masteros has to be a little bit cautious, though. He's taking a lot of harassment out from Savage and Whiteman, but okay, he's got a salve available on that Tide and just needs to get to the point where he can get a few levels up on that Kraken shell. Should be fine.
But the Storm isn't going to be lagging too behind. It's going to be a bit of a back and forth lane. Level 6 is where both of these heroes really start to pop off, but Fearless does have a more varied kit. If it does go for a utility skill point in each spell at level 4 at least, then he's going to have ways to at least juke around Abed. And Abed's got to be a bit cautious. It's really going to be down to support rotations onto the mid, and you already see Q making his way there.
Yeah, Q. Looking for a toss back on Abed. Won't be able to get it, and Abed. Bit of a love tap on the way out. They were going to try for it though, just coming back in, and they realize they've got to make sure Abed does not have a good game. Ooh, no. Bit unfortunate there. The Aether Remnant though, not going to latch on from Fearless, and or had it latched on, that may have actually been first blood, but they do miss out.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Abed is going to be happy with that. That is some EXP soaked away from Fearless. The lane equilibrium gets thrown off a bit, but they're still dancing here. Just focusing on those creeps, and again, the support's gonna have to be on point. Q is gonna be looking to make that play over and over. Does move his focus up top though, as Masteros, you mentioned him dropping low earlier. He's not too far behind the last hits, but he's not slowing Savage any way down.
Well, I mean, it's a hard lane, right? Like again, up until you have that like level 2 Kraken shell, I think Masteros is probably going to struggle just a little bit. Savage is going to have a nice, somewhat free time, apart from the anchor smashing that is happening. Q, go for a nice little toss back with the Jabs into that double stacked large camp. It won't take too much damage. Jabs is going to actually make a bit of a rotation back towards his own triangle. Maybe just reset and go back into the lane. Still bot lane. Jackie and Boombell up against Cuckoo on that Centaur and Whitemon on Grimstroke. They're going to put the Nightmare off onto Whiteman, making sure he can't chase him down for the Ink Swap. Overall, though, you look at the CS board, and Cuckoo seems to be having a very, very good time.
He definitely is. He's taking over that lane just a bit more. Kind of the same story for both offlaners. They're just applying that pressure slightly ahead of this opposing pause 1 course, and it's not too bad of a position for those safe lane carries, but you wouldn't want to lag too far behind. Maintaining it this way is not too bad. You're not slowing down the offlaner as well, but your own farm is on a steady pace, so you'll take what you can get here.
Fearless on that CS really pulling ahead now, 22-5 in comparison to the 15-1 of Abed. To be somewhat expected, however, considering it is a Void Spirit, but now that Abed is at that level 4 mark, he should get aggressive, and does. Fearless will be able to get the Dissimilate off and continue to be CSing in this mid lane, but down at the pot lane, they were trying to fight over the power rune. Only problem being Jabs had the power rune up at the top lane, and that was the arcane. Overall, both heroes will get denied off that bottle. So I think that might actually hurt Abed a bit more, though, as Fearless does seem to be having a much more comfortable time.
Oh yeah, and it's helpful for Jabs, but it's not like he's gonna make any too aggressive plays with the napalm. Gotta love the plays that Q's making. He's keeping track of Jabs every single time, getting Jabs damaged into his camps, breaking off the pull, makes it a bit trickier to find those stacks that you want to build up as a Bat Rider, and that's gonna have some impact later down the line if they do maintain that. But Q, he's not finding kills, but he's being very annoying on the Tiny.
He is, and he might actually find a kill now. Avalanche Toss is going to be out onto Cuckoo. Do slow him down with the Stroke of Fate, and now the hoof stop, but Fearless is going to join in with the Aether Remnant, takes the first blood, and takes the bounty away from Among Us. That's a great start for your Void Spirit. Not only is he top of the last hits board, but he gets the first blood goal.
Yeah, that's really important for Fearless. Sets him off to a way better start. He is significantly ahead of Abed at this point in time as well, about 600 gold up. So that's gonna set the pace for a Void Spirit. Gives him an earlier level 6 as well, and that's the point where he can start to look at even more pick-off opportunities onto that Storm. So a bit of caution advised here for Among Us. You gotta play a bit safe. They need to ride it out until you can clear these stacks. Once you can, you've got a lot of stacks to play with, because Jabs has been very effective in going around that map.
Where are these stacks?
Should be in the triangle. A bunch.
Fearless.
One.
Aether Remnant going to be out onto Abed. Doesn't go for the Dissimilate damage, just wants to back off. Was only a level 1 Dissimilate after all, so it wasn't going to be enough. It does just pressure Abed out. Go up towards that top rune spot, but nothing's going to be there. He is indeed going to go to that triangle and start taking some stacks for himself.
Yeah, it's actually not as much as you'd expect. Again, that's down to Q being pretty annoying. In fact, speaking of Q, he's got an Invis and looking for an opportunity, but a lot of caution. You're not seeing Among Us overextend in any way. They're just playing it safe in that safe lane and getting the creeps back. You look up top, Masaros is at 6, Savage is at 6. So those solo lanes, you're starting to find the EXP, find the gold. Gotta be cautious of that timing. The first Ravage going to be very important to set that pace for MG Trust.
I wonder if he does even skill up the Ravage here. He might just choose to hold out, and yeah, he does. He goes for the Kraken Shell, so understanding he's probably going to be a bit more passive for now. Just wait out that Ravage timing. Savage, however, going to get a bit aggressive here, trying to take some creeps off Masaros, but Masaros does still manage to just take most of them. Savage only got one with that Infest Bomb. And even now, with that level 7, he still doesn't bother with the Ravage timing. He does go for the level 4 Anchor Smash.
I mean, he's got his early Morbid Mask up as well, so he can stand there and trade with Savage. Not the ideal situation for a Life Stealer. You know, they're just going to be trading farm, but the Tidehunter does clear out camps, clears out creep waves a bit faster, and in that sense, Masaros is enjoying this 1v1. He's off to a pretty good start, number 2 in last hits, although
mid lane, caught by that Remnant, but will survive through the initial burst, and now wants to turn back around onto Q. Q will drop to the Storm, and now Fearless being chased down by Jabs. does also go down, and those are two really big pickoffs for Among Us.
Oh yeah, it's a massive set of kills. Abed gonna be very pleased finding that. He even has the regen rune on himself, so that kind of takes a bit of that early start away for Fearless. It has to be a bit cautious. You want those rotations to be successful. You die like that, the punishment from Among Us, you can't underestimate. It starts to, you know, even out. You still are in a pretty good spot as the Void Spirit. But, you know, you start to wonder when the side lanes will start to open up. None of these heroes in Among Us are particularly easy to pick off, and that means the only real one you can make plays on is really Abed. It's just, he's at level 8 now. That just got a bit more difficult.
Looks like he wants to go for another kill, Abed. They go on to Jackie. Jackie gonna go for the doppel, but without that now, Jackie is just a sitting duck. Cuckoo will commit the stampede, and it will be a very simple rotation out for Abed. This is really not what you want to keep Abed, right? You don't want him to take kills like this across the map because he is going to snowball out of control.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want the Storm. He's working towards that Orchid. He just lacks a quarterstaff and a recipe. That's actually pretty fast progress for a Storm. Number 2 in net worth now with all those kills under his belt. Tied up with Savage on a free farm lane. This is just fantastic for Abed. Sets up the pace, and once that Orchid is up, you can expect his aggressive plays to be even more effective. The additional control you can get onto Fearless is going to hurt that Void Spirit. The Yules is not going to line up with that Orchid timing. He's gonna have a big window where there's just no purge available.
It's gonna be very problematic. They're just looking for more creeps to hit right now, but MG Trust. It's at a double stack there after that triangle. Savage does come back for his bounty rune and realizes it is gone. Now, Fearless even getting a double damage rune on that Void Spirit. Might be able to make use of this very, very soon. So he does get very lucky with those runes, and well, for now he's not going to be able to catch anyone out. There is no one around. He's having a look. He's having a gander. See if he can catch anyone here and just use both his astral steps to steal some creeps off Savage with that double stack.
Yeah, it's worthwhile enough, you know, slowing down the farm to Lifestealer evens out the net worth graph as well. It's very flat across all of these cores. Only one lagging behind is Cuckoo still. MG Trust, they smoke up, level 9. Want to use that double damage as you mentioned.
Radiant are scanning.
Where are they going to use it? Bot lane? I mean, it's just Whiteman there. They could try to set up for that bottom tier 1 tower. Pings come out, they want to go for the kill, and this should be a very easy one. Q gets the avalanche into the toss, and it should be a nice easy cleanup here for Fearless, or is it? Whiteman had the Inkswell going. Does make Fearless expend a lot more than he'd like to try and get that kill. I suppose at the very least they should be able to now go towards that bot tier 1.
Yeah, it's going to be a relatively straightforward push. None of these heroes melt towers fast. It will take some investments to get that done, but they've got the numbers. Doesn't look like Among Us is sending any heroes down to even just soak. Excuse me. So should be some good chip damage done, but it's only Fearless standing in this lane, so it's probably not a full-blown push. Just, again, chipping away. Down mid, it's where you see some focus from Among Us. They do have Cuckoo along with Whiteman to chip away at that mid-tier 1. So just applying pressure there, forcing a response out.
That tier 1, you don't want to lose that if you motivate. Now going to bring Masaros in to try and defend, but that's going to open up the top lane for Savage to start forcing in. And speaking of Savage, he has the armlet up now. So he's been really free farming quite nicely. All props to Jackie, however, who has kept up with him, and they are on the exact same gold right now. It's going to change now as they do get a couple creeps going for themselves, but it seems though Motivate Trust, they want to try and force a team fight. Boombell does have the Fiend's Grip up. Just needs to catch himself a target. To have Q around, but you need more than that. You can't just go with a Bane Tiny. Looks like they are going to back off. For that, they do find something bot though. Abed Yeah, he gets Fearless. Another huge pick-off, and they knew that they were up at that top lane trying to get a smoke rotation happening. But Abed just takes a very easy kill down at the bot lane, and to make matters worse, that was the position 2 of Motivate Trust.
Yeah, that's a great Orchid reveal from Abed, and there's that timing. You know, the Yules is just not ready. And in this way, Abed is just set to snowball even harder, working towards his booster next into, you know, into the Bloodstone. It's a smooth ramp up. They haven't punished the Storm. The jungle hasn't been monitored. This is a bit of a concern for MG Trust. They do catch jabs though.
They got the Fiend's Grip off onto the Batrider. Not really the usage they were hoping for the first Fiend's Grip, but sometimes you just have to take what you can get. They'll accept the Jabs Batrider kill into that tier 1 bot tower. Leave Jackie and Masros to take care of that, as the rest of MG Trust go for a smoke towards that mid lane. They are losing that mid tower. Masros gonna TP in. Abed
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
zipping away from Fearless. They do successfully hold that tier 1. It is on very low HP, but it's still there.
Yeah.
MG Trust might want to try and go for a counter push.
Yeah, they've got the heroes clumped up. They still have the Ravage. They've left Savage to free farm top though. He's even shoving that tier 2 up. Have to be cautious about that. He's done some good damage by himself onto the tier 2, and he's keeping the wave shoved in.
Structures are fortified.
MG Trust, they're going to keep up the push.
Under attack.
Not going to be too bothered by this push happening up at top by Savage. The thing is, Cuckoo's pulling the creep wave away.
Dire's middle tower is
That's
under
a
attack.
bit annoying now for MG Trust. They have to go after that tier 1 tower without the creeps. There's going to be TPs coming in. It'll be Savage showing up now. You don't have the Fiend's Grip to hold him down. Savage going to pop the rage onto Jackie. Masros does have Ravage, but needs to commit very, very soon, and he has not yet. He'll hold out. Back to that tier 1 mid tower, but now the Stampede in from Cuckoo. Nightmare will be there on your centaur, but Jab's got the lasso off. Big Ravage, however, from Masros, and Abed gonna zip back in. Does take down Burbill, but Q also going down on the Tiny. And Masros is still left behind on the Tidehunter, but they want to go after Fearless. Abed, does he have the damage up? He's kind of low on mana. That'll be it. A 2-for-2 trade. Both supports on both ends going down. And Motivate Trust do successfully take that tier 1 mid tower.
That's the objective they were really looking for. They're going to be happy just trading evenly for that. They still maintain a bit of a lead there with Jackie, but the overall network is leaning towards Among Us. Still, they've got the map control advantage with their own mid-tier 1 looking a bit better. You know, it's still up at the least, and that's something Among Us will have to be cautious about. There's an additional TP point now that MG Trust is going to be able to access. Does leave their jungle slightly compromised here for Among Us. They're going to have to wait a little bit more. Jabs did have that early blink reveal. Didn't pan out the way they wanted it though.
Masros been stunned up mid lane. Fearless going to try and jump in and help out. Masros is a tanky target, so it's quite difficult to get through the raw HP pool of this Tide. And now Q, a great toss out on Jabs, and that's going to mean your Batrider's gone. And MG Trust, they are fighting back very, very efficiently now. And they are really making sure that mid-tier 1 does not drop.
Yeah, they're keeping really good checks on that tower, just maintaining that control, maintaining easy access in their jungle. This is going to hurt Among Us. It's not going to allow them to roam around as much as they want. We've seen them really try to find this aggressive play. It's just going to stay that difficult. They're looking for Cuckoo's blink right now, so just sit back, wait for the blink on the Centaur. It gives you more opportunities to jump in beyond just the lasso. They are smoked up though. Jabs does have the lasso ready, and they do infest up, looking for a play.
Yeah, anyone quite yet. Fearless actually going to be the closest target to them, but they ping out Boombill, and they'll commit the lasso, go for the easy Bane kill, and now the chase will be on. See if they can get anyone else. But Masros again is going to be way too difficult of a target to get through. And instead, well, they're going to zip in onto Fearless. Silence will be there from Abed, into the Vortex and the Hoof Stomp. Fearless, he did not have that Yule Scepter available, so couldn't quite purge off the silence in time, and Well, suddenly it's a 2-for-0 trade.
Yeah, it's a really big trade going the way of Among Us. And that is also Cuckoo's Blink finished up from that kill. So there's that additional initiation we were looking for Among Us. That's going to enable them to, again, maintain that aggression that they have been showing. And as soon as they start chipping away at this mid-tier 1, the map opens up. That's where they're going to set their eyes next once a few more items come out. And that's where, again, MG Trust, very disciplined to keep that tier 1 alive. I'm going to have to keep at it to counteract any sort of movements from Among Us.
Radiant are scanning.
A bit of downtime here in this game number 1, 8-6. Both teams just kind of sitting back and get some more core items up here. Abed. Got that Bloodstone up already? Is that what he just bought out?
It's a soul booster. He lacks the Kaya, but he's going to have the additional HP and mana pool, so that's going to be a huge boon for him. You look at Q as well. Even our Pause 4 Tiny has a blink available. So really fast blinks across the map for both sides. Very disciplined in that farm. And again, it's still a close match, 8-6, 1k lead on Among Us, but it's not much. Really excellent plays from all sides. You know, it's slower, but they're finding that steady farm. You look at Jackie's progress, Diffusal and Manta up at the 20-minute mark. That's with Power Treads and with a Raid Band. Really, just fantastic farm. No punishment from both sides. There is another smoke here from Among Us, though.
Loop through the triangle, not paying any attention towards those PL illusions that were farming the Ancients. Abed now going to try and bait for his team a little bit.
Is under attack.
And Savage, well, he won't wait. He'll go straight after that tier 1 mid tower, and now Masteros is going to TP in, but he has absolutely zero fear of dying here in this Tidehunter. And they're not even going to bother trying to jump in. They just know it's too difficult at the moment. Get through that HP. Funny thing is, he is alone in that mid lane. So they could take their time with him, but they're just not going to bother.
Yeah, he is just way too big. Like, he's got the Vlads up, but the Defiance is there, waiting for the upgrade into the pipe, and it's just a tricky one. They're just gonna go for the safe play, chip away at objectives. That's forcing the TP back here, though. There might be a fight.
Pops the essence ring there. Fearless gonna get the use off on Cuckoo, so he'll start on the Centaur. Cuckoo does commit the Stampede, but Ravage is gonna fly out, and it's a very nice Ravage, allowing them to jump in, deal with the avalanche toss. But Jabs, he got the lasso off on Fearless. They could burst down this Void Spirit perhaps, or maybe not Abed. He's running low on mana. The Motivate Trust are still fighting back, but Savage standing his ground up against Jackie, who is very, very low, and looks like he might die. Among Us, it looked kind of poor for them after that Ravage, but they just sustained themselves, and well, you lost Jabs on the Bat Rider, but you might find even more for your trouble, as you will get Fearless, and even Masteros is set to go down here up this bot lane, and it'll be a full team one.
Ooh, man, Among Us, just playing perfectly. Really, the spacing was beautiful there. Like, you saw the Ravage coming from a mile away. It only caught 3. They were all really split up. The only hero they could actually jump is Cuckoo, but he already got the Stampede off, so it's not like it mattered to him. And Among Us, so all of a sudden, off that team fight, 3k lead. I believe that's the Bloodstone now being finished for Abed. 22 minutes. Orchid Bloodstone. That is just insanely fast farm for Abed, and he's not even number 1 in net worth. The 2 cores are still up there. So now our Storm 6-0 hasn't been punished with the fresh Bloodstone up, going for the Ags next. I love this coming out from Abed. He's just going for that control to ensure that they've got a way to keep that PL locked in, keep all of the heroes of MG Trust pressured to split apart, where they can pick them off one by one.
And you've also got the Mjolnir now on Savage, so he's going to have a way to deal with those PL illusions, and illusions are essentially just going to melt themselves. That Mjolnir makes it very, very difficult for Jackie. Of course, Jackie is going back towards that Eye of Skadi now on the Phantom Lancer. Just question whether it's going to be enough, though.
Radiant are
In
scanning.
that last team fight, everything went well, but they just couldn't kill anyone worth killing. Now Jabs with the Firefly gonna go in with the Infest, and Q's gonna go down, and so does the Bane. Masteros can't really do much as his Ravage is on cooldown, and now Jabs a perfect lasso off, catching Jackie, and that'll be your PL gone. In fact, they're not even done, Abed. He's going for more. He wants Fearless and the Void Spirit, but Fearless will be able to Astral Step away. But you've got the POS 1 PL down. Couldn't be more happy if you're Among Us.
Massive wins for Among Us. That's a really amazing feeling if you're the Storm. Abed, fresh Bloodstone, one fight, 17 charges now. You're gonna be glad. Just so much is staying. Still though, Among Us. Whiteman.
Fearless gonna jump in after Jabs. Was trying to get the TP out, but looks like he is gonna end up going down, perhaps.
Dire's middle tower.
Shadow Amulet, yeah, definitely not gonna be enough. The Astral Step was there for Fearless. But he won't mind. I mean, he's the position 4 Bat Rider. He doesn't even have Lasso at the moment. As long as he's doing his job while Lasso's up, he's happy.
Yeah, they actually managed to bail Whitemon out. So that split focus meant that there was no stun to punish Whitemon, and Among Us only take one loss, not the biggest one. MG Trust, what they need to get done now, they have the Ags up on Fearless, so there's additional silence coming out, additional control. This is going to hurt Abed. He doesn't have anything defensive yet. He is building the BKB next, but there's a window here where the BKB is not up and the AoE silence is. Gotta be cautious. Fearless is going to look to flex that new item.
That top lane, Abed.
Tower is under attack.
And gets spotted by Q, gets the avalanche into the toss. Now Fearless can get the guaranteed silence off. Abed gonna pop Bloodstone active and is gonna be alright. They can't kill him, and he's gonna turn back around onto the Bane, who could not get the Fiend's Grip off in time. And Kuku's gonna be there with the hoof stomp onto Q, and now Fearless, he cannot step away. It's got 5 seconds for it to be off cooldown, but the Dissimulate Juke is perhaps going to be enough. Jabs, no, he's going to get the lasso off, but he did catch the Bane. Not quite the target they wanted, but they'll take it. Now the Soulbane out from Wyman into the double vortex of Abed. They'll throw the Ravage out, but it might not be enough. They'll lose Jabs, but what does that mean when you're losing all your cores on Motivate Trust? Jackie trying to run back towards Abed, does get the Storm. And Boombell's actually going to buy back. They'll try and turn this one around. Masteros buying time. Q. Avalanche toss going to be on. Wyman, he's falling very low and looks like he will die. Now Savage, how do you deal with this? Gonna go back onto Boombell, but he's been being stripped up. They can't cancel it, so Savage is also going to die now. Q.
Oh, man.
Cuckoo trying to TP out, but he's going to get wiped. Oh, Motivate Trust. That's a great team fight coming up.
Dire's top
Oh, they're
tower
going to be
is
very
under
pleased with themselves there, just making the most of that buyback, punishing Among Us for their overconfidence. They get easy access into that Roche pit. Massive wins for the Ties stack. Really chuffed. Among Us, they're going to be beating themselves a bit. You saw Abed trying to zip out of the Ravage. He didn't quite get out of range. If he did, that might have ended up a bit differently, but they lost Abed very early on in the second half, and that's just costly. Free Roche for Motivate Trust, dragging that net worth lead back down. All of a sudden, a very even game once more.
It is.
Roshan has fallen.
Roshan going. Jackie will pick it up on the PL. Looks like Among Us might have to go back to the drawing board and figure out what happened in that last team fight. It looked like it went so strong at the start, but the buyback came out from Boombell. The Ravage was committed by Masteros. They just turned it completely around.
Yeah, it's gonna be down to the BKB for Abed. They just need him to be able to stand in front, and he was almost there. I believe he is flying out now. Yeah, actually he switched this out. Yeah, he's just going back to the Ags. So skipping the BKB. If he gets that additional AoE control, I think that's gonna be it. Their combination with the Soulbind there didn't quite catch on. They got it off, but they didn't get the double lasso because Jabs had to commit in the Bane. So once you string these spells together, it could look a bit differently, but Motivate Trust are not giving them too much time to think. They're on the up and up, they can feel it. The Scotty's just about to be done on Jackie, 800 gold off. And once that's up, our PL, well, he's going to be a lot harder to finish off here.
He is. Is that Scotty coming out in 400 gold? While Among Us, they are just sticking as a team. They can see Masteros and they're going to try and make the jump in. He does have the Ravage. Again, can he actually die? It doesn't look like he can, so Jabs is going to jump into the back lines, but he's been nightmared up. Boombell is going to get jumped straight away by Abed and is down. They find another. The Soulbind is going to be out on Felix and Masteros. A big Ravage though from Masteros, but the Vortex is out from Abed, just holding him down. But here comes Q with the Avalanche, but it's not going to be enough. Among Us giving it back the way of Motivate Trust. And Jackie, the only man left, thanks to the Aegis, might be dead anyway. So Abed goes in with the Inkswell, and he won't even need it.
Oh, man.
What a back and forth game from these two.
Just the bounce backs, the full team wipes from each side, playing to the limits, and Among Us not scared to force a fight into the Aegis. They still make it work. They actually didn't even expend the lasso from Jabs. He still has that on the Bat Rider. They didn't need the double lasso. They just had all the control, all the damage. And that just sets themselves up for a really good time now. 5k lead built up. AC up on Savage. AC Mjolnir. Armlet at 29 minutes. Just really good progression for the Lifestealer. And they're just starting to chip away. Tier 2 mid going to be taken out. MG Trust got to be a bit more cautious now as Q.
Yeah, he's gone. Abed makes the jump. Jabs does have lasso, but no, they can't actually catch him. The spider legs gonna make it so he can get out, and Jabs might be just left here to die, and that will be the case. That rider does go down. With that now, Among Us are just gonna have to take it easy for the next 45 seconds. On the brighter side though, Abed does finish off the Ags.
Just beautiful. That mini black hole in play, Mike. Easier ways to initiate, a lot more control that will come out, and that first use of the Ag's Vortex can be very important to set the tone for the next fights. Just makes it more impactful if you've got the Infest play with Savage as well, right? It's just a lot scarier to go into and gives you a much more burst at the start still. Jackie does finish up that Scotty, so he's a bit tankier in the PL, and there is a smoke immediately from MG Trust.
Crack. Behind, Cuckoo about to break the smoke, but not quite in range yet. Counter smoke is there from Among Us.
Radiant
But perhaps just trying to play the bait. Draw an exact circle as well. It seems like they know where they are. They will avoid them Among Us. They're not interested in a bad team fight at the moment. But they are also very close to an Aghanim Scepter on Whiteman.
Oh,
so
man.
they might just wait that one out.
Yeah, that's gonna be big. You know, he's got the Aetherlens as well for his cast range. So very low committal to get some PL clones, and those clones will hit hard. Still, Jackie, given the space to clear a tier 2 bot, does get it with no challenge. Just giving a little bit more control out for MG Trust, but their top tier 2 is gone as well. And there's that Axe. So, Soulbind, Dark Portrait gonna be in play, gonna be a big one.
It's got an Arcane Rune to boot.
Radiant's bottom
That's going to be problematic now for Motivate Trust. You generally don't want to fight into the Arcane Rune Storm, nor the Aghanim Scepter Storm for that matter. We haven't really seen that being used yet. And with that Grimstroke in Portrait, I suppose they're just looking to take over the PL, right? Because you can get illusions off that Portrait, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Gonna be really easy to maximize that if you can. And we've seen the Dark Portraits actually do a ton of damage outwards, right? It just does so much more against a team like that. You've got a lot of farm on Jackie, so it's not like those Dark Portrait illusions are just gonna tickle. They're actually gonna be very impactful here. do manage to catch him out. So MG Trust has to be a bit careful. Still, both teams just playing it a bit slower, playing that farm game. What are we looking for? 4-staff for Jab is going to be next. And, you know, we're still looking for that BKB on Abed, just to have that security. There's a Lincoln's up now for Fearless. So if you do jump in and lasso or soulbind, it's going to be blocked. You have to be cautious about that, as they have been targeting the Void Spirit as well. It has been the Bane for the most part, but, you know, the Void Spirit doesn't hurt. They're in for a surprise if they do drop the lasso on him in the next fight.
Savage is trying to finish off a nullifier on that life stealer. Maybe that might be the cue to go for a big smoke. So quite close to it actually. Just needs to buy that sacred relic, and he's about 300 gold off it. Try and deal with these PL illusions, just taking out his creep wave.
I've been wanting
Just slowly building up, waiting for those key items. Jackie is going for the Abyssal next. There's that nullifier you were talking about for Savage. They can pin someone down, keep them in place, and twack that damage on. Of course, that does mean there's going to be a disparity between the Abyssals, as Jackie's probably going to have his first. That could mean that he can get the jump in a very big way. And that's something Among Us has to be cautious about still. They've got Abed and Savage together now. Infest Bomb ready to go.
I forget, Abed still doesn't have that BKB up. They're about halfway there, so not looking to wait for it. And well, Savage does jump out of Abed, so it looks like they might just be willing to wait. Boundaries did come up anyway, so it's probably worth going and getting those instead of looking for a kill here. No, but he's just gonna push out the top wave, maybe hope for the gold for a BKB. Of course, without that Abyssal Blade being finished up on Jackie, it looks like MG Trust, they aren't too interested in forcing a team fight yet. They might just wait for that one big item, unless Masteros gets caught out. But he's a Tide Hunter, he should be right.
Yeah, it's given enough time for Cuckoo to finish his heart, so he's really tanky now in that center. Heart up, Pipe and Crimson Guard up earlier. You're gonna be hard pressed to chew through the Centaur, and that is gonna be something that they've got to be cautious about. Cuckoo's been very on point, acting as bait. He's not the target you want to hit first here if you are MG Trust.
Savage is going to back off as well down that bot lane. Back with the infest onto Jabs. Dota Plus has been a bit confused today, but sitting at 71% right now.
There's that full Abyssal up for Jackie, so they might look to make a play with it. Of course, that does give him a control advantage over Savage because of that nullifier detour. We'll see if that will affect him. Just been lounging around. No engagement between both sides. Very cautious. From MG Trust, I'd say it's a bit more cautious because you've seen Among Us smoke up a lot more still.
They are initiating onto Cuckoo, but he's got a heart up now. So the best they're doing is just draining the mana of Cuckoo and actually drain a substantial amount of it. Probably can't get through the raw HP of Cuckoo yet. Not until he's just been left alone. I think for Motivate Trust, they're seeing a lot of these items being picked up by Among Us, and they just don't know how to initiate here.
Pretty good play coming out from Whitemon. His Dark Portrait illusion of Jackie taking out a courier. Just stalling some wards out, denying some vision, and that Roche from Among Us, it melts really quick here.
Masteros, he's coming close, but he's not going to make it in time. Jabs, nice Nice lasso out, does catch Boombo once again, and they just burst down the Bane. Now with the flame break, back onto Masaros, and he is not as tanky as he used to be. The Nullify making short work of him, or is it he's still trying to run, but no, he's gone. On to the next, Abed zips on to the Tiny. That'll mean Q is certainly dead. Whiteman with a triple kill on the Grimstroke of all things.
Gotta love it coming out for Whiteman. That is enough for him to finish up his blink. He's gonna have the opportunities to jump in and get a good soul bind off, get some dark portraits on, silence us off, really set up for his team as MG Trust, off the back of a bad fight, suddenly are 10k behind. We haven't seen the effect of Jackie's Abyssal yet. He was on a different part of the map. It's going towards the bags. Once you've got that, you can play around with more. I think he can jump out of it here.
He does. Abed does actually go down. It's a very nice play from Jackie.
That's painful. Like, he swapped in the cheese a bit too late there, Abed. He also popped his BKB. That was his 10-second charge. And it's that control factor. You just can't underestimate a PL with Abyssal. That is the reveal. So an effective reveal nonetheless for MG Trust despite losing the earlier team fight. That's going to push Among Us back a bit. They're not going to be able to go for any objectives. They're going to have to wait the full minute 10 for Abed to be back up.
Bit of a time frame. That'll be fine to wait it out. It's not like MG Trust can actually get anything done in that time anyway. They've got 55 seconds, but they're not really close by to any objectives. They're just trying to get some more farm up on Jackie. I guess once he has that Ags up, he should feel a bit more confident going into these fights.
Yeah, gives him more mobility, more options to run in. This is stalling out for Savage to finish up his own Abyssal. He's already got the Vanguard up. He's just waiting, you know, on the farm. Not going to take too long when they've got this much control on the map. Might have to wait for the Aegis to expire unless he swaps an item down for the Abyssal, but it's gonna be there, and that disparity in control is gonna kind of lose meaning once Savage has that. So they're gonna set eyes on the bot tier 2, just a bit of a shove. You can see MG Trust shove out that top tier 2 a bit as well. A bit of a back and forth between both teams.
Masteros TP's in and Savage completely ignores him. Can't for the tide. Abed gonna get another arcane rune to bottle up. He's gonna be a very, very happy man with that. Does also have level 25 now. That late game stage where you start to expect both teams to go at it.
It's a pretty big spike for Savage, right? Like plus 1.5 seconds in rage. A lot more uptime, a lot more effectiveness there. Go for an infest play.
Not gonna find the target they wanted. Dab's gonna fly through, but he's there. Then mid lane, MG Trust gonna stand behind Masaros and see if they can bait somebody to go for that kill. They haven't really been focusing on Masaros whatsoever throughout this game, so it's very doubtful they would. They'll go back to their triangle, but Jabs is posturing underneath an Observer Ward now, but so are the side of Motivate Trust. Jabs still that lasso is going to go on Fearless. They break the Linkers, and the Bean Trip is going to do nothing. And now Abed with a 3-man Vortex off on the Storm is just going to melt them. Jackie's trying to run, but they are gone.
Oh man.
See you later, Masaros.
Oh boy, that was just wonderful from Among Us. The Dark Portrait of Whiteman was zoning Masaros out. Like, he was stuck there. He was losing mana from that Dark Portrait. The Ags paying massively to break the team fight up, split up MG Trust, and they're going straight for tier 4s.
Yeah, it's over. There's no buybacks left. One Vortex from Abed and the game's over. Of course, all props to Jabs for getting that lasso before he could get Bean Script by the Bane. Well, that'll be game 1 to Among Us, but John, all props to Motivate. They made it look like a really even game for most of that game number 1.